I'm actually coming to go live this morning to have a brief discussion with someone about cancer and cancer prevention, and all the different things that we can do to help to prevent um, cancers, and the things that we can do, like I said, within our lifestyles to change. I'm just waiting for Denise to come and go live with me. Denise has been one of my followers for at least the last 3 years plus, and she has had an interesting journey herself with regards to her health and her wellness. And like I said, I'm going live because I want her to share her story with you guys, and how lifestyle has impacted the things that she has done, how her lifestyle has changed due to the things that she has done, and how much of a big role that we can play in our own health and wellness, to be honest with you. And so, like I said, I'm just waiting for her to come on right now. And if you guys didn't get an opportunity to go back and check out the live I did this morning, showing the detox smoothie recipe. There you go. I think I'm waiting for her to come live on Instagram, and let's see.
Blessings.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good, blessings. The Facebook is not giving me an option to request to come in.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Let's see if let's see. I don't know how exactly to do this.
There should be a way for you to swipe. There should be say something. See, it's not telling me to. Yeah.
Let's see.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to. Yeah. I'm not. I've never really done this
So I'm wondering.
tandem thing.
Yeah.
But let's see. Well, let's get started on Instagram. Hopefully we'll fix it on Facebook. And you can always share it from your Instagram to your Facebook as well, I believe. So there you go. But introduce yourself.
Hopefully, because I really want it to be able, I'll have to figure out how to get it to go over to
I know, right. Well, it's definitely, it's on, yeah.
The only other thing would be is to me go live on Facebook and bring you in as Titus. I mean, as your John Titus.
Let's see if you can do that on Facebook, okay. Yeah. And then
And then we'll keep this going.
There you go. But anyway, tell us a little bit about your story as we do that, and who you are.
Okay, my name is Denise Vaughn, and I actually was diagnosed with cancer in 2012. And while they're sitting there making my appointments for chemotherapy and where I'm going to go, I asked if there was any new research for treating cancer with food, plant-based or whatever, and they just kind of looked at me like I was crazy and said no, that this was the only way. He was an older doctor. I did not have insurance, so it was through some sort of, if you didn't have a certain amount of money, then you qualified for this operation, but you had to go through a bunch of, it was almost like a mouse in a maze, the way they had to go through everything. And the doctor was very just straightforward, not, like a clinic doctor, I guess, if you want to say, not really personal. This was before Obama came into office. And then, because that was 2012, or was that? Yeah.
Let me just say that, hey guys, if you're on Facebook right now, join me on Instagram. We're going to also try to go live on her Facebook account. Yes. Did you get your Facebook up yet?
I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, so join me on Instagram, or join me on Instagram, or look for what's your Facebook name again?
Denise Rasta Empress Vaughn.
Yeah, Denise Rasta Impress Vaughn on Facebook. Okay, there you go.
So I'm on live now, but you would have to come on to the live on.
Yeah, I know. Hold on a second.
Blessings, everybody. Blessings, blessings. Thank you, everyone who's joining the live. This is going to be really interesting. Hey, Carl. Blessings. You know, this is a topic that not too many people are talking about nowadays. So it says I have 4, but I don't see you on here yet. I'm on live now, but you would have to come on to the live.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Hold on.
Blessings, everybody. Blessings, blessings. I know. I turned down my volume on one of the other ones. Blessings, everyone joining the live. Titus is trying to come in on his. If you have Instagram and you go to at Titus Unlimited, you will find us there. That's probably the better spot. We're trying to pull him in right now.
I don't know.
Is it not letting you go into? I turned down my volume on one.
Yeah, I don't understand how to get in here.
Do you see that I'm live on Facebook?
I'm looking at you live. Yeah. I know.
What's going on? Because somebody else was trying to tell me. Okay, so everyone, go to Instagram. All right, go to Instagram, Titus Unlimited, if you want to see him. I'm going to keep this live going, but I'm going to be talking to Instagram.
Okay. Well, I think it'll be, let's just do this and then we can share it going, you know, because the audio isn't linking up and everything like that. But anyway, so you went to this doctor and you were looking for ways to treat your cancer using, I guess, dietary means. And he was resistant to it, right?
Yes, it was just like, no. So they ignored what I was saying. Well, one of the things they were asking too was how I was treating the pain, because most women are in a lot of pain with the size of fibroids that I had. I posted on my Facebook page the size of my fibroids. I looked pregnant. It was so large. The thing had its own heartbeat, no lie. I'd lay there and I would be like, and it was crazy because, you know, I'm feeling pregnant and all the things that pregnant, but I'm not pregnant. But I had these huge. Well, actually, the fibroids it was a cyst or a mass on my ovary, and I didn't know that it would switch over to like the top. It was anyway. So no, they were just wanting to take it out, and that was it.
And treat you with chemotherapy.
And treat with the chemotherapy. Lined you up for chemotherapy right away. That's the first thing they do. They get you right away for the chemotherapy. They tell you, oh, you have cancer. And they kind of pretend to feel sorry for you. And then they start to wanting to get you into, you know, whatever chemotherapy is going on. So I said.
It's a $30,000 treatment, so yes.
So yeah, so I said no.
Okay.
I just, you know, I talked to the only people I told about, because I'm running a creative business and I don't have a paycheck, a 9 to 5, I had photography. I spent many years and sacrificed a lot to become a photographer. But my goal was to focus with the people of my own. So I never told anyone about my journey when I started it. I just, except for my children, I told them, and my son, one of my kids, my son Terrence, he was so mad at me. He wanted me to go and do the chemotherapy, and I refused. So I had a lot of pushback, and even within my family, they forgot that, you know, I was actually working on conquering cancer. And I think if I was taking the chemotherapy, it's easier for people to kind of feel for you and want to help you. And when you're going the natural way, and when I say natural, the organic way, going back to plants and cannabis, that's when, you know, you don't always get the support.
Well, because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. You're quote unquote viewed as going against the grain, you know. And everybody is so programmed. When you're not using the same approach that everyone who is programmed is using, all of a sudden, then now you're the problem.
Yes.
Or you don't really want to help yourself.
Yes. Not to mention, I could not get nobody to go and exercise with me. You know, everybody is busy getting out there to exercise. people don't always have the time to do that. And but there was this one person who that was part of his lifestyle, was exercising. And so I made it a point to get to where he was to exercise. And that was a challenge, you know. Sometimes people thinking you're doing the exercise for the wrong reasons, but they don't know what's going on. Only a few intimate people. So that's why it's really important to honor a person's choice. And one of the things I like about you and your presentation and your influence is that you honor, if somebody wants to be vegan, you honor that, but you also give the information about that. And if somebody wants to eat meat, you honor that as well, and you give the correct information for that too. And when I started this journey, it wasn't like vegan the way it is everywhere right now. It was no. It was hard to go out to eat. Even today, still, even with the popularity, it's still hard to eat out because I don't want to deal with canola oil, vegetable oil, salt. You know, when you go to a restaurant, they're going to salt it up. And that's, I know you went live this morning talking about colon cancer, and salt actually contributes to stomach cancer. Salt is a big
high sodium levels, yes.
Yeah, so it was very, very difficult. Also, when you start this journey of wanting to feed yourself correctly, people think you're bougie. Oh, you can't eat my food. You don't want what I got to cook. Oh, you too good for this now. And it's not even about, it's about my life.
Right. Well, the thing is, once again, I think what we have to learn how to deal with is the level of ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in the wrong way, but ignorance in the proper way. There's just a lot of ignorance about food and nutrition and even health. And the sad thing is that when people are ignorant about something, they misunderstand a lot of things because it's based in fear. And then they start to be judgmental, because if you start to refuse their food, then they're taking it personally.
They do.
As opposed to trying to understand where you're coming from. Okay? So I think, and that's what I try to do on my end, is I try to educate people on both sides of the spectrum, whether you're trying to be vegan or whatever it is, that you have control over your diet, you have control over your health and your lifestyle. But one of the first things we have to do is we have to unlearn a lot of the things that we've been taught, unlearn the things that we grew up hearing. And last but not least, we have to start having these conversations, these open conversations, because nobody has a conversation about cancer until they get it. Nobody has a conversation about hysterectomies and cysts and colorectal cancer and how to prevent it until someone has it. And then when someone has it, everybody's hush-hush about it. Okay?
Yes. And that's the thing about the hysterectomies for women. Listen, 600,000 wombs are taken out every year in the U.S.
Wow.
Every year. And a big cause of that is the dairy industry. Cheese directly feeds fibroids, because cheese has high estrogen levels. So it was really a trap.
Growth hormone too. Growth hormone accelerates the growth of fibroids and cancers. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Yes.
And the thing is, what people, and whether you want to believe it or not, and you can do your own factual research, but there is a population control going on. And the first thing they did with that cheese, the first thing they did is they introduced those yellow blocks, free cheese, like the free flu shot.
Exactly.
Free cheese. And that was the trap, because I was in that line and I got that cheese and I fed it to I love cheese. If you have the Hispanic Mexican background, it's on everything. They put cheese in the enchiladas, cheese, it's on everything. And And then what do we do? Because we like it and we get addicted because, you know, those little bings go on.
Yeah,
Just
the receptors, the
they hit it.
dopamine, yeah.
Yeah, so then what do? We feed it to our children. And the worst thing we can do is do that because it is cow titty juice.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like I always
Well,
tell,
what I mean by that is, you know, it's made for a cow.
right,
It's made for a cow. So a cow has to go from, you know, well, they're big when they're born, but from that
right.
size to this size, you know, super huge in a small amount of time. And then we are putting that in our body because there's this huge marketing campaign that is done. Milk does your body good, yet we can't sue them, right? But that's false advertising, but we can't sue them because they control everything.
Well, the thing I tell people about dairy, number one, you're right. The growth hormone is made to turn a 50-pound calf into a 500-pound cow. And so when you start to even look at our society as it is right now, and another thing is a lot of these things have changed in the last 30 or 40 years. And if people don't believe that it's changed, I remember being a teenager and remembered that most of the young girls my age were getting their cycle between the age of 12 and 14. Now you have young girls getting their cycle as early as 8 and 9.
Yes, and let me tell you, the cheese will feed the fibroids, which causes the pain. It causes irregular menstrual cycles. Those fibroids are no joke. Let me tell you, it will knock you out. You will not be able to do anything. Whenever I had my cycle, I was laid out. It was so difficult to work. And even through the journey of healing myself, it was very difficult.
What changes did you make that helped you get to where you are now? Because you didn't do the chemo. So how did you first of all beat your cancer, right? And what are some of the things that you do on a regular basis now that add to your health?
That's a good question. So the first thing I did is I started to do research. I started to look things up. What causes the fibroids? So yeah, that was the first thing. I had to get my why. Why are you doing this? Down for me, solid. Okay. So I did the research and I found out about the cheese, and that was a very hard addiction to break. Let me tell you,
it's actually one of the hardest food addictions to break. You're right.
Man,
cheese and sugar. Yes.
Man, it is a tough one. It took me a long time, and I paid for it. I lost my womb. So starting to do the daily exercising, eliminating any type of fish, meat. I had already stopped eating chicken and those type of things, but I then took it to the next level and cut out the meat. But I wasn't a healthy vegan, if you want to say, or vegetarian, because I didn't have a lot of the greens involved. It was mostly pastas with sauces.
So you were doing more of the processed stuff.
More of the processed stuff. So you can kind of tell what's going on in your body. And I honestly, I did not want to go under the knife without doing something to better heal myself. So went from that and just started making these little transitions, and then coming across pages like yours, where, you know, here you can see young people all day long, you know, walking around. You don't know if they actually worked out or that's just their genes and they look good. They can go for a walk and they're cool. But you look at someone like you who's in their 50s, or at the time was 2016. I don't think you were 50 yet.
Not quite.
Because that's when I came across you, and it was around October of 2016. And you were brand new to the whole influencer thing.
So you actually started following me 1 month after I went on social media. No, actually 2 months, because I went on social media in September of 2016.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when I really started.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that you are authentic, and you're ready to tackle these subjects. So that was a huge help. You know, some people complain about social media, and I get it. But I do my best to follow people that motivate me to be better. And so
Right.
you're one of those. I'm not as good as you with consistency and all that, but I'm better than I ever was. And
Well, that's
so
all that matters. As long as you're getting better every day, I get better every day, and people like you help me, because I can't tell you how hearing stories from people like you, and I see a lot of people who are on also who have inspired me. And you guys, a lot of times people don't think that they inspire, me, but it is I take it as a major blessing, but also a responsibility when people follow your lead, when you are, when you have had a part to play in someone changing their health, changing their lifestyle, getting healthier, improving their situation. And so, and I always talk about the role of being an influencer because it really makes you really understand how important the things that you say and do, how important they are, not only to you, but to other people, because you're actually, you're actually making an impact, and it can be a positive one or a negative one, depending on what you choose to do. And I take that very seriously.
yeah,
So.
you have to walk it. So getting that regular exercise, changing, starting to do more juicing. I did some juicing, carrot juices, that kind of thing. Staying a positive mind and cutting people off. I had to cut people off. And I didn't, it's not because you're trying to do revenge or you're mad, it's because some things that people do based off of their own self-hate, because that's where it really comes from. We somewhere along the line, we've lost the self-love and how important that is. And so when people don't have self-love and they see somebody else, because when you feed your body right, that's self-love.
Yes.
When you exercise, that's self-love. When you only choose organic, even though it's a little bit more expensive, that's self-love. And that was another thing I did. I got organic food. I started shopping at farmers markets so I can get it directly into. And these fibroids, see, I think too that some women don't talk about it because when you have fibroids or you have hysterectomy or womb problems, the flow is extreme. And let me tell you, I'm not kidding. It is so extreme. It's like, I'm surprised you're alive. You can even walk, because it could be that bad with fibroids. So when the hysterectomy comes around, the first thing the doctors and everybody wants to talk about, oh, well, you don't have a menstrual cycle no more. You'll be fine. The first time they wanted to take my womb was back in 2008. Because I was living in Santa Barbara and saw a doctor there, and that was the first thing they wanted. Well, you have a fibroid. It's the size of a tennis ball right now, or whatever. So I can say that eliminating the cheese did stop the growth of the fibroids, but it did not stop the growth of the cyst, the mass that they said was cancer. Mm-hmm. That continued to grow. So although I was trying to avoid the surgery, I had to go in because it had grown so much.
That's the thing that I would tell a lot of people, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, because sadly, a lot of women out there are misinformed to think that they have no choice.
Yes.
And especially a lot of African American women who believe that they're predisposed to these things and they're going to get them almost regardless because it's just so prevalent and what have you, all these different things. And if people just understood how much of a role their own diet and lifestyle plays in their health, that you have 95% control over most of the things that happen to you. And your level of dedication, consistency, and self-love is what's going to dictate and drive that. And much to what you say, I always tell people, what I would love for people to do, especially our vegan people, and that's one of the reasons why I like talking to you, is that, yes, you did approach me about being vegan.
I did. I told you you couldn't marry me until you were vegan. I told you
exactly.
that. And I inboxed him and said he can't marry me until he's vegan.
And the thing is but what I like is that you're open-minded, and you try to bring people to your understanding of nutrition from a standpoint of love as opposed to a standpoint of judgment.
Correct.
Because what I find with a lot of people who are healthy, or people who feel that they're enlightened, is that they judge people. And the sad thing about it is that, most people who are in that position, they weren't always like that. And so sometimes they get to a certain level, and then the first thing they want to do is look down on people about the things that people do. And I think that's the unfortunate part, because if we had more people out there spreading information out of love as opposed to superiority, we would be in a better position, because more people would get the information, and more people would be able to receive the information because of how it's disseminated, as opposed to, looking down their noses at people. So yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So no, and to be fair, I think sometimes we can become judgmental because we're trying so hard to not eat it ourselves. And so the world would be easier if everybody did what we were doing. And it is a self journey. It's a self journey, and we have to make that choice. So when the doctors say, you're not going to have no more pain, and one of the things when the doctors would ask me, what are you doing for pain? Because they could see my chart, they could see I have no prescription drugs. So what are you doing for pain? I would tell them cannabis. That so because we were talking about some of the things that I do, so I want to just show that really quick. And smoking cannabis is one thing, but ingesting it is the best.
Well, yeah, I've heard that actually ingesting it through its liquid form and other forms like that are actually way better for your bodies. Smoking it became cool, but actually, ingesting is much better. What do you have there?
This is organic coconut oil infused with cannabis. Backyard, no chemical cannabis, because I don't, now that the government has hands on it.
That's a whole different topic.
We're not going to go there, but that's just how particular I am about my herb. I want to know where it's from. I don't, dispensaries are cool and everything, but I'm very, very, very particular. Because I'm not so interested in getting an ultimate high as much as I'm interested in the healing properties of cannabis. Right. So this was my thing. I looked it up on YouTube how to make it, and then I have my own little thing that I do for my cannabis. But the only thing that's in here is cannabis and coconut oil. Okay. So I'll put it in my dandelion tea. Where'd I get that from? And you can put it in as a coffee creamer. Before I would go on a photo shoot, I would take a tablespoon. Yeah. It takes some getting used to. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's not like, oh, this is so yummy and great. No, it takes some getting used to. But so chase it with some pineapple juice, pure pineapple juice, and or water, and this would get me through the day. I mean, it was amazing. The doctors couldn't believe, because I would not be in pain. I had the issues, but I was not in a lot of pain, and it's because of this. And then the other thing I did also was the Rick Simpson oil that I got from Robin Swan, Firebird Touch Therapy. It's the oil that you only take like a rice size, and you can it'll go through your body. It's like just the pure THC. It's like it pulls everything, and that's all you get. And for cancer patients in extreme situations, that would be a great thing to do.
So you manage your pain with cannabis, basically.
Yes, cannabis was my pain. So and that was what is it? Comforting that I wasn't affecting my liver by taking a medication that's supposed to take the pain away. So I wasn't hurting other parts of my body just so I wouldn't feel pain.
And that's the thing that people don't understand about prescription drugs is natural remedies don't make anything else go wrong. There are no list of side effects of taking turmeric, of taking, cannabis, of taking ginger, of ingesting because natural remedies actually cure your issue as opposed to just treat symptoms. Okay, you don't start taking natural remedies to cure anything, right? And then when you're done, other things don't work. Just like chemotherapy. A lot of times, chemotherapy, when women go through chemotherapy, it renders them infertile because
Oh,
basically, yeah, a lot of people come out infertile from doing chemotherapy and yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
yeah. So the doctors were amazed that, and I was open with it. They said, "What are you doing for pain?" I said, "Cannabis." And they were like, "Okay." And do you smoke it or whatever? And they weren't worried about smoking cannabis as far as how it affects the lungs. So that's a good thing. But if you're wrapping your cannabis in, in blunt wraps that are flavored that say cancer, then there's a problem there. So you got to think about that. But that when I got the medicine from Robin, she said not to put it in, from my mouth, but actually where the problem was. So I actually inserted the cannabis where
Mhm.
it would get to the womb right away. And I felt this huge shift inside. It was wild. And after that, my flows had slowed down a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm speaking about the flow because that was the main reason why women might jump to the opportunity to get a hysterectomy,
Yeah,
because
because it
now they
seems like an
hear,
immediate fix.
yeah, oh, I don't
Right.
ever have to worry about a period again. Oh, yeah, okay. And especially if you were like me, I had 7, 10, sometimes 15-day periods. And when I went to Belize the first time, I was I was flowing probably the most of that trip. It was crazy. But this is what they don't tell you. When they take your womb, your sex drive goes too.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of things that go wrong with you when they remove your womb. Your hormones are no longer being balanced. Everything goes awry. So you're right. Yeah.
And that to me was like the worst thing because I like having a healthy sex drive. I mean,
Well, in our society right now, and I always tell people, natural things like a sex drive, people act as if it's unnecessary. People try to replace those natural things with material things and food and alcohol and you see these people running around having supposedly having this fun, but when we actually drill down to our purpose as animals, because that's what we are, we're just a higher evolving species, right? Yeah, eating
and
protein.
you actually had a live where you did, I think it was a live talking about the maca root.
Yeah,
And this is recent. And I started taking the maca root, like putting it in, even in your coffee, whatever, just the smoothies, and it did make a difference. So
it
thank
makes a
you for that.
difference. It makes a huge difference. And people don't understand, like, once again, these are natural things that you can take. You don't have to go out and find all these different, all pharmaceutical medicine is based off of natural medicine. Okay.
Correct. When I
You
went
know.
to Belize and we had a tour into the rainforest, he was
Hmm.
showing all these different plants
Roots
that
and herbs, yeah, yeah.
they come in and they get this or this is that. And Minister of Wellness Nathaniel Jordan, he talks about people calling, oh, you're going to eat that rabbit food because it's a plate full of earth food, and yet
Right,
that rabbit food is in your medication. It's how
right.
your medication was designed from this rabbit food or from the earth. So the problem is we're lazy.
Well, I always say,
We
I say
want
it
a
all the time.
pill.
We're convenience is killing us.
Yes.
Okay, and not only convenience, but we're also being deluded because you have a lot of people walking around, and we were all there. Sadly, they think they're so smart because they have different letters next to their names, but yet you're not even smart enough to realize what it is that you're putting into your body. I believe the smartest person, right, is one who is fully educated on what they actually put into their body. Because imagine being so smart in everything else, but not smart enough to take care of yourself.
Yeah, what did you say? You said taking medication and assuming you're healthy is the same thing as taking a loan and assuming you're rich.
Exactly. If you're being kept alive and kept functioning by medications, you know, you're actually delusional to believe that you're healthy, you know. And so we have to get back to natural means of caring for ourselves. Someone says ginger has helped regulate hormones and PMS. Ginger is actually very good for cycle, and I'm pretty sure you can speak on that.
Yes, I cannot drink water by itself. I can't. It just, I know you're supposed to drink water, but I mean, I can. I'll do it. But
you just don't like
the way I do my water is lemon and ginger. Lemon, and it makes your hair grow. It has
good for your skin.
Good for
Ginger and lemon are very good for your skin because they help to detoxify your body. And a lot of people don't understand your skin is the largest organ in your body. People don't understand that your skin is an organ, and your skin is usually a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So I can look at how clear your skin is and stuff like that, you know. Yeah.
well, I did have some wine the other day, so. but thank you. So ginger was a big part of that too, and the everyday thing, making sure I have ginger, and the juicing was a help, but definitely losing my womb was a big thing. I held on to it for 5 years, and even now I have to like remember that that's not there no more. The whole
So tell us a little bit about what you do on the Rasta Kitchen.
Okay, so in the Rasta Kitchen, the thing that I want to do is provide food that I know is healing the people who are eating it.
Right.
So my goal is to share nutritarian dense food, more plant powered than vegan. The only reason, honestly, that I like the word vegan is because it tells people you're not eating dairy. But because if you say you're vegetarian, that's still people who are vegetarian.
Yeah, you could be eating dairy.
They could be eating dairy. So plant powered is kind of the term I'm going with, where it's just, plant food. So I don't even do a whole lot of carbs anymore as far as what I used to do when I first started this journey. Now it's a lot of beans. I do a lot of beans. I really like beans. That's just, beans
are very nutrient dense, so yes.
And they keep you healthy. They keep the curves. Because I'm like, dang, all I eat is I don't do a whole lot of sugar. So the goal in the kitchen is to share recipes and to encourage people that, you can do it. And it doesn't have to be a bunch of ingredients. You don't know where to find these ingredients. Because some of these YouTube channels with their vegan stuff, it's cute. They got the whole, video set up like a television show. I want to show more of the raw because, number one, my profession is a photographer. And so I really don't have a whole lot of time to be setting all the cameras up. And I like to work as a solo person because people have, like today, I'm so thankful you made it because I know you're busy. So we thank you, Titus. But, you don't have to rely on it. So I just kind of want to show people a lot of the recipes I do are the first time of me actually trying them because.
Believe it or not, me too. A lot of times I brainstorm and just come up with stuff, But, I have gotten that same question because people ask, why don't you get like a fancy industrial kitchen or something like that? And my response to them is because most people don't have a fancy kitchen. And so I want to show you, like you said, the raw stuff, how somebody's going to cook in their kitchen at home. Because if you come, sometimes, I understand why they do these huge cooking, spectaculars. But it's, in my opinion, if I really want it to be relatable, if I really want, Denise to go home and say, you know what, I can do this, right? She has to be able to see herself doing this in a kitchen that she has with ingredients that she can easily find, utensils that are not, look like they don't come from some special cooking thing,
I'd be showing my food processor I got from the cherry auction.
Exactly, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, sometimes I have some interesting appliances and stuff like that, but nothing overboard that the average person can't go out and get.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole goal for the Rasta Kitchen is to do that, to encourage for people. When I went on this journey, there was not a whole lot out there like there is now, but a lot of what I see now is like that higher end, you know, super professional, and you feel like, well, dang, I don't have, you know, these things that they have. Whereas it's more of an authentic approach. And that's, I just feel like that's the better way, because I don't know, putting on a mask and trying to be perfect and everything, it's just too much work.
Well, it's not for me. It's not so. Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't do that because you know people ask me all the time, like, you know, how come you just? I said I just turn the camera on and I talk. You know, because I look at it this way: for the off chance that somebody runs into me in public, right?
Right.
Now I have to now shift gears to be this different person. I can't do that. You know,
Correct.
and so everything that I talk about on social media, even when people don't realize when I do my lives, I don't have a script. I
I
don't
don't
practice
either.
anything, and you just go for it. I mean, sometimes when I cook, I have to lay stuff out to make sure I have everything there. But other than that, you just go for it because
Right.
that's what people are going to do when they're home trying to take care of themselves. So you have to make it so that it's easy for people to do. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that all happened, and then when Obama finally made the health care go through
Mhm.
in when I came back from Belize, because I left Belize and I almost wasn't gonna leave Belize, but you made this post about if you don't want things to change, or you won't have change unless you make a change or something,
Right.
because you know it was very scary.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right, right. And so I
There
was
you go.
like, man, he's so right. Okay, so let's just do this. And um, you know, I followed my instincts, or followed my inside knowing that number one, when I actually went to Belize, it was right before who's in charge now was about to be in charge, and so I was kind of glad to get away from all that energy that was going on here because of
Right.
that. But when I was there, I got exposed to custard apple. You're Jamaican, right? Or
I'm half African, half Haitian, and in Haiti they call it kashima, which is
you,
what a custard apple is. It's like a baby soursop.
and it looks like a heart. Huh?
Yes.
It looks
Yeah.
like a heart, and then you
Yeah.
open it up, and it's very sexual, you know, because like that whole little piece in the.
Yep. It
Anyway,
looks like it's actually a baby soursop. It's about the size of your fist.
yes,
Yeah.
uh-huh, and it was pink, the one that I was able to have. It wasn't the white one; it was the pink one, or
Okay.
the.
Cool. Uh-huh.
And so that was a whole different experience eating that. I was making soursop. The soursop trees where I was at were diseased, and so the soursop could never get fully ripe. It would turn black from the inside out, but the
Hmm.
tree's leaves were still good. So I would
Hmm.
go and I would collect the leaves. I would collect lemongrass and put those two together, boil that up with a little bit of honey, and then I would have that tea every morning while I was in the jungle.
So
And
you're a living representative that soursop leaves do work.
yes,
Boom.
yes.
There we go.
So I didn't go. So when I finally went to or got, because I'm native on my dad's side, and so I go to this clinic here in Fresno that's for the natives, for
Right.
the indigenous people, and because Obama brought in this health care for people who didn't have children or whatever, I was able to have the surgery from a really good doctor here in Fresno, actually Clovis. And before the surgery, because when I came back from Belize, it was too bad. It was just out of control as far as the size. It was growing. It was growing really badly. So I was like, okay, I got to do something. I have to do it. And so I went to see the doctor, and he came in and he said, if anybody else would come into, because he could feel that I was relaxed while I was high, but he could feel that I was relaxed, and he was like, if this, you know, most people in your situation, they would be really, you scared the MRI guy, because when I went to get the MRI, my tumor was so large, you couldn't see it off of the MRI thing. It was so large. And I had wondered why the technician wasn't there, the same technician when I had come finished, he was gone and it was somebody else. And then the doctor told me that I scared him. Like, he didn't know, like, how I was, I guess, even operating, having such a huge tumor, cancer,
Right.
whatever it was that they were thinking that it is or is.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing was, and I know I'm trying to keep this short, my thing was I didn't want to have both my ovaries removed, because that's a whole another set of problems, hair growing, all kind of other stuff. And because I was already 50 or 49, they want to take everything. So I made a deal with the doctor. I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'll go ahead and do it, but can you save at least one of my ovaries if they're good, you know, because the fallopian tubes, whatever, that one side. And he said, I'm going to bring in a cancer person, and if it's not cancer, I'll let you keep it. Right. Now, let me tell you, most doctors will not do that because they're just going to do protocol or whatever. So I said, okay. So the day of the surgery, we go in. He's super cool about it. Everything is fine. Thankfully, to one of my friends who was there to make sure I woke up, because they were saying Denise, and I wasn't listening until my friend said, Rasta, Rasta, until I woke up. Okay, so fast forward to the doctor, and he told me he prayed the whole night. He wasn't sure how he was gonna approach it, because he hadn't seen something. Nobody had ever allowed themselves to get like what I had allowed myself to get to. But he said when he went in, he literally popped it and it was just liquid. Wow. So all, whatever was going on had died. And it was just liquid. So the surgery was quicker. He didn't have to spend a whole lot of time with me trying to figure it out, and my recovery time was pretty nice too. But the point is, I know making all those different changes, not being afraid to try something new. Even if I was over there, I had to try the custard apple, something I had never eaten before. I had to try aki. Oh my God, I love aki. I had to try, you know, and I know how you're supposed to cook it too. So I had to try all these things. Coming here to Fresno, you know, making sure I'm getting organic food. It is a real lifestyle change.
It's a full lifestyle change. It's a complete overhaul of your lifestyle, and that's what's necessary.
Yes.
You're right. Right. But a lot of people have been asking about your contact information and your website and your page, so give them that, please.
Okay, so I have two separate pages. The Rasta Kitchen, at Rasta Kitchen One Love. That's I'm dealing specifically with food and cook-ups. And then I have my at DV3 photography page, and that's my creative side. So that's my love, photography, and there's so many different images out there, and we are all moved by imagery. My goal is to show how royal we are, especially my Fresno family people. And I'm very thankful to the Fresno family who has really kept DV3 going. But so that's where you guys can find me, and I welcome you all.
Yeah, and you know, I like that, and I'm glad you also came on, because I really I like that we're able to see people who are able to conquer these ailments with natural remedies. But the biggest task out here is to prevent yourself from ever being in this position. And if we can do that from telling stories like yours and educating people on the importance of your diet, on the importance of cleaning it up, on the importance of making these changes before you have to. You know, the crazy thing is everybody looks for all these different things once they get sick, but everybody wants to walk around like they're invincible before it happens. And I think if we can convince people to take better steps for their health, you know, like learning the healthy lifestyle. And that's why, you know, people who have benefited tremendously from doing like the unlimited plan, it really does help, you know, because if you don't make time to take care of yourself, you're going to have to spend a lot of time in sickness, and being sick is just not cool. So yes. I want to tell you, thank you. I'm glad people were able to sign in. I have to figure out this Facebook thing, because I am horrible at that, because I thought I had it. And then it's like, But either way,
Your
if I'm
followers
ever
are going to have to start requesting to join your live. Is what's going to happen. We're going to have to
there you go. They
request,
gotta
and then
when
you
you
just
guys
pop us in.
yeah, I can, and that's what I'm gonna start doing. But a lot of times people are scared to pop in, so I'm gonna start doing that. But thank you so much
Thank
again.
you, Titus. I
Have
truly
a
appreciate everything that you're doing, and hopefully you'll come to California soon.
Yep. If I'm
So
ever in Fresno, we'll do a cooking. We'll do something
yes,
cooking related together. All right.
yes. All right.
All right.
Peace and
Thank you.
blessings.
All
Blessings.
right. You too.